You trust coconut oil. You cook with it. You rub it into your skin. But what if the jar in your kitchen right now is loaded with chemical residues, bleached until it is dead and stripped of every single benefit you bought it for? One brand on this list tested so poorly, it made us question whether it should even be called coconut oil. And the number one pick is a name almost every senior in this country trusts completely. That trust is about to shatter. Stay with me. Coming in at number 11. Tesco Everyday Value Coconut Oil. The label says pure coconut oil. 3 simple words. Honest. Reassuring. Exactly what you want to read when you are watching your pennies and trying to eat well. But pure does not mean what you think it means. Not here. This oil is refined using chemical solvents. Hexane, a petroleum-derived chemical, is commonly used in the extraction of cheap coconut oils across the industry. A 2020 study published in the journal Food Chemistry found hexane residues present in multiple refined coconut oil samples tested across European retail shelves. After extraction, the oil is bleached using bleaching clay to strip out color and impurities. Then it is deodorized at extreme temperatures, sometimes exceeding 200 degrees Celsius. That process destroys lauric acid, the medium-chain fatty acid that gives virgin coconut oil its antimicrobial and immune-boosting properties. By the time Tesco's oil reaches your cupboard, the beneficial compounds are gone. What remains is a neutral, lifeless fat with no nutritional advantage over cheap vegetable oil. Now open the lid. Go on. Smell it. There is nothing there, no tropical sweetness, no coconut, just a flat, waxy silence. That is not purity, that is absence. The texture confirms it, a pale, dense, almost plasticky block that crumbles rather than scoops. Real virgin coconut oil is smooth, creamy, and fragrant. This is industrial product dressed up in a friendly label. For anyone managing blood pressure or cholesterol, the oxidative stress caused by solvent-processed oils is not neutral. It actively works against your medication. Your doctor told you to make healthier choices. This jar is not one of them. If the label says pure but the jar smells like nothing, what exactly are you paying for? At number 10, we have KTC coconut oil. This one is everywhere. Corner shops, supermarkets, online. Affordable, familiar, a staple in kitchens across the UK for decades. But familiarity is not the same as safety. KTC sources from copra, which is dried coconut meat. Copra is typically sun-dried in open-air conditions across South Asia. That means exposure to dust, insects, rain and mold before it even reaches a processing facility. A 2018 report by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations flagged copra-based coconut oils as high risk for aflatoxin contamination, a mold-derived toxin classified as a Group 1 carcinogen. The same classification given to asbestos, because copra starts degraded. The oil requires aggressive refining to become shelf-stable. That means bleaching, deodorizing, and chemical treatment that strips the oil of its beneficial fatty acid profile. Customer reviews tell the rest of the story. Reports of rancid smell straight out of a sealed jar, grey discoloration visible through the plastic, an oily residue that sits on the skin and refuses to absorb. Some customers described a sour, almost metallic tang when they tasted it. Nothing like the clean, sweet coconut flavour they expected. For seniors managing inflammation or arthritis, rancid oils are especially dangerous. Oxidized fats generate free radicals that accelerate joint degradation and put extra strain on kidneys already working hard to filter medication. If your coconut oil smells sour the moment you open a brand new jar, that is not age, that is rot, and it has no place in your kitchen. But this is nothing compared to what we found at number 6. That one involves something most people put on their skin every single day without knowing what is really in it. Now at number 9, Biona Organic Cuisine Coconut Oil. The word organic is doing all the work here. It is printed in green. The jar looks wholesome. The price is premium, and your brain fills in the rest. Organic must mean healthier. Organic must mean unprocessed. Organic must mean better. But this is their refined line, done steam refined, deodorized and flavorless. The organic certification applies to the raw coconuts at the farm, not to the finished product sitting in your cupboard after refining has stripped it bare. A 2021 survey by the Soil Association found that over 40% of UK consumers believed organic labels guaranteed minimal processing. They do not. Organic tells you how the crop was grown. It says nothing about what happened to the oil after the coconut was harvested. You are paying up to £3 more per jar for a word, not a benefit. For seniors on fixed incomes, that is money, taken under false pretenses. And the health cost is real too. The refining process removes medium-chain triglycerides, the MCTs that support brain function, metabolism, and energy. If you bought this oil because you read that coconut oil supports cognitive health, the refining has already removed the compounds responsible. Pour some into a spoon, taste it, nothing, smell it, nothing. Set it next to a jar of refined non-organic oil from Tesco. You could not tell the difference. Side by side, they are identical. One costs twice as much. Neither is giving you what you need. If this is helping you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposes. Coming in at number 8. Asda Smart Price Coconut Oil, the cheapest coconut oil on the supermarket shelf. Under £2 for a jar. For anyone watching their budget, it looks like a sensible choice. But there is a reason it costs so little. This oil is ultra-refined, sourced from bulk, commodity copra with virtually no traceability. No cold pressing, no virgin grade. The label says coconut oil, and technically it qualifies, but barely. A 2019 European Food Safety Authority report found mineral oil hydrocarbons, known as MOH, present in multiple cheap cooking oils sold across the continent. These compounds migrate from packaging, processing equipment, and contaminated raw materials. They accumulate in the liver and lymph nodes over time. For anyone with kidney issues or on long-term blood pressure medication, that is an invisible toxin your body is struggling to process while simultaneously handling pharmaceutical compounds. The texture gives it away. Thin, almost greasy compared to a quality virgin oil. It melts too quickly in warm hands, leaves a slick film on spoons and surfaces, and has absolutely zero aroma. Real coconut oil has body. It has resistance. This has none. It is the ghost of coconut oil, present on the shelf but empty of everything that matters. Is it not odd that supermarkets can sell something this heavily processed under the same name as a high-quality virgin oil, and there is no law forcing them to make the difference clear? Drop a comment. Tell us what you think. And if you think budget brands are the only problem, wait until you see what one of the most expensive coconut oils in the UK is hiding. That is coming up, and it is not what you would expect. Now, I know this is a lot to take in, but here is the thing. There is actually a way to tell a safe coconut oil from a dangerous one in seconds. No lab test needed, no special equipment. We are going to break that down for you at the very end of this video. So whatever you do, do not click away before the countdown finishes. At number 7, Little Vitador Coconut Oil. Clean packaging, modern design. Sits on the shelf right next to premium brands. The price is low, but the presentation whispers quality. That is deliberate. That is retail psychology working exactly as intended. This oil is refined and deodorized. There is no indication of cold pressing or virgin status anywhere on the label. If you look carefully, there is no origin country either. No farm, no region, just a product of multiple countries, disclaimer buried in small print on the back. And when independent laboratories have tested budget coconut oils in this price range, the results are stark. Lauric acid content, the single most important compound in coconut oil for immune support, was found to be 30 to 40% lower in refined versions compared to virgin alternatives. That is not a small gap. That is the difference between a product that supports your health and one that does almost nothing. A 2017 study in the Journal of the American Oil Chemists Society confirmed that high heat refining significantly reduces lauric acid concentration while simultaneously increasing the formation of potentially harmful oxidation byproducts. For seniors relying on coconut oil to boost immunity or fight inflammation, that is a betrayal. You bought it because your friend said coconut oil helps with joint pain. You bought it because you read it supports brain health. But the refining has already taken most of the lauric acid away. What is left is a neutral fat with a coconut oil label. Nothing more. Melt a spoonful. Taste it. Bland. Neutral, indistinguishable from any other refined vegetable oil. There is no visible difference in the jar, but the difference shows up on a lab report, and your body knows the difference even if your eyes cannot see it. If you are over 60 and buying coconut oil for health reasons, this one is taking your money and giving you almost nothing in return. Number 6. Cocafina Coconut Oil. This one is marketed as a multi-use oil. Cooking, skin, hair. The jar looks versatile and trustworthy. The label implies you can do everything with it. But here is where it gets dangerous. Products marketed for cosmetic use in the UK do not need to meet food-grade safety standards. The regulations are entirely separate. Cosmetic-grade oils fall under the EU Cosmetics Regulation, which the UK retained post-Brexit. Food-grade oils fall under entirely different legislation. The safety thresholds are not the same. And some jars tested as cosmetic-grade coconut oil have been found to contain higher levels of peroxide, a marker of oxidation and rancidity, than would ever be acceptable in food-grade products. Yet customers are eating it. Spreading it on toast, cooking eggs in it, stirring it into porridge, feeding it to their grandchildren. A 2020 analysis published in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science found that 30% of coconut oil products marketed as dual use showed peroxide values exceeding food safety thresholds. That is nearly 1 in 3 jars. Consuming oxidized fats is linked directly to increased LDL cholesterol and arterial inflammation. For anyone already on statins or blood thinners, that is a direct conflict with your medication. Your GP prescribed those pills to protect your heart. A rancid oil consumed daily is quietly undermining every tablet you swallow. Every single morning, the jar might look perfectly white and pristine. It might even smell faintly of coconut. But underneath, there is sometimes a slight chemical sharpness, an almost plastic-like edge that most people dismiss as nothing. They tell themselves it is fine. They tell themselves they are imagining it. But that faint chemical note is the oxidation talking. That is the giveaway. And most people never check because they have already decided the product is safe based on the label alone. There are brands that actually got this right. We will get to them, but not yet. Coming in at number 5. Tropical Sun coconut oil, a staple in the UK Caribbean food aisle, trusted for decades, passed down through generations. Your mother used it, your grandmother used it. It carries cultural weight and emotional loyalty. But the refined version undergoes RBD processing. That stands for refined, bleached, deodorized. Bleaching clay strips color and certain impurities. High-heat deodorization removes scent and volatile compounds, and that extreme heat, often exceeding 240 degrees Celsius, can create trans fats in small but measurable amounts. A 2019 study published in the European Journal of Lipid Science and Technology found detectable trans fat levels in multiple RBD coconut oils sold across the EU, including several labeled zero trans fat on the front of the jar. Zero trans fat on the label, measurable trans fats in the laboratory. That is not a mistake, that is a labeling loophole. Regulations allow products containing less than half a gram of trans fat per serving to be labeled as zero. But if you use 2 or 3 servings a day, as many people do with cooking oil, those trace amounts add up week after week, month after month. The British Heart Foundation has repeatedly warned that there is no safe level of artificial trans fat consumption, especially for those already at cardiovascular risk. Even trace amounts raise LDL cholesterol and lower HDL cholesterol, the protective kind. For seniors managing heart disease or recovering from a cardiac event, this is a hidden threat buried inside a product they have trusted their entire lives. The oil looks smooth, white, clean, it smells like nothing, it looks trustworthy, and that is exactly the problem. Clean appearance does not mean clean processing. What you cannot smell can still damage your arteries. Slowly, quietly, for years. At number 4, Holland & Barrett refined coconut oil, sold in a health food shop, surrounded by vitamins, supplements, and organic superfoods. Everything in Holland & Barrett feels vetted, curated, safe. That is the halo effect, and it is incredibly powerful. But their refined coconut oil undergoes the exact same RBD process as the budget supermarket lines we have already covered. Bleached, deodorized, stripped of beneficial fatty acids. The only difference is the shop it sits in and the price on the sticker. A 2022 Consumer Trust Survey which found that 68% of UK adults over 50 associate health food shops with higher product safety standards. That assumption is not always correct. If you walked into Holland & Barrett because your GP told you to reduce inflammation and you picked up a refined coconut oil thinking it was the best choice, you may have done the opposite. The jar looks premium, the label is clean and minimal, the branding feels medical, but turn it around. Read the back. Refined coconut oil. Those two words change everything. The shop did not protect you, the label did not warn you, and the oil is not healing you. Why do you think health food shops are allowed to sell refined, chemically processed oils right alongside supplements and vitamins without any warning label? Does that feel like they are looking out for your health or their profits? Tell us in the comments. We are almost at number 1. And trust me, that one is going to change the way you look at coconut oil forever. But more importantly, right after the countdown, we are going to reveal the 2 brands that actually passed every test. And we will show you the one simple method to spot a fake coconut oil before you even open the jar. That is all coming, but only at the very end. Stay with me. Coming in at number 3, Nutiva coconut oil, imported from the United States, heavily promoted on social media, endorsed by wellness influencers with millions of followers. Modern packaging, ethical messaging, buzzwords like sustainable and responsibly sourced printed across the label. It feels premium because every single design choice is engineered to make it feel premium. But UK food safety standards and US food safety standards are not identical. They never have been. Some batches imported into the UK have raised questions about whether they have. Meet EU-aligned contamination thresholds that the UK still broadly follows post-Brexit. The maximum allowable limit for certain contaminants, including polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, differs between USFDA standards and the limits enforced by UK and EU regulators. A product that passes American testing might not pass British testing. And when it is imported and placed on a UK shelf, there is no guarantee that additional UK-specific testing was conducted on that batch. The organic certification Nutiva carries is USDA organic. That does not automatically equate to UK or EU organic certification. The Soil Association, the UK gold standard for organic certification, has different standards for permissible pesticide residues, processing aids, and contamination limits. USDA organic and Soil Association organic are not interchangeable, despite both using the word organic. For seniors who trust an imported brand because a wellness influencer recommended it on Instagram or TikTok, this is a wake-up call. Certification differences mean your safety net might have holes in it. If you are managing diabetes, kidney disease, or hypertension, and your dietary choices need to be precise, those holes matter more than a pretty label ever could. The packaging is sleek. The branding is modern. It looks nothing like a traditional coconut oil jar. It feels premium. It smells fine, but feels premium is marketing. It is not a lab result. And when your health is on the line, marketing is not enough. It was never enough. One of these might already be sitting in your kitchen. By the end, you will know exactly what to do about it. At number 2, Sainsbury's own brand coconut oil, one of the biggest supermarkets in the United Kingdom. Trusted by millions of families every single week. You walk in for bread and milk, you trust the name above the door. Their own brand coconut oil is refined with no cold pressing, sourced from bulk suppliers with limited transparency. You will not find a farm. Name on the label. You will not find a country of origin for the coconut. You will find the words coconut oil and a barcode. That is it. A 2021 investigation by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism into UK supermarket own brand cooking oils found that traceability was often impossible. Neither the retailer nor the customer could verify where the coconut was grown, how it was processed, or what it was exposed to along the supply chain. The supply chains for cheap coconut oil often involve multiple intermediary traders across 3 or 4 countries before the oil ever reaches a bottling facility. Each step adds distance between you and the truth. When you cannot trace where your oil came from, you cannot rule out contamination with heavy metals, pesticide residues, or mycotoxins from mold. A separate 2020 EU Rapid Alert notification flagged multiple coconut oil shipments entering Europe with elevated levels of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, compounds classified as probable. Carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Without traceability, there is no way to know if those flagged shipments ended up in own-brand jars on UK shelves. For seniors with compromised immune systems or anyone undergoing cancer treatment, that uncertainty is not a minor inconvenience. It is a risk you should not have to take. The jar is generic. The label is plain. It sits quietly on the shelf between baked beans and pasta sauce. Nothing about it screams danger. And that is exactly the problem. The most dangerous products are not the ones that look suspicious. They are the ones you never think to question. And now, number 1, Lucy B coconut oil. This is the one. The brand that markets itself as pure, ethical, premium and trusted by health professionals, featured in national magazines, endorsed by wellness bloggers with enormous followings, stocked in every major UK retailer from Tesco to Waitrose. The packaging is beautiful. The messaging is aspirational. The price is firmly premium, and millions of seniors across this country trust it completely. They buy it without hesitation. They recommend it to friends. They cook with it every single day. But independent consumer reviews and product analyses tell a different story. Reports of inconsistent quality between batches have appeared repeatedly on consumer forums and review sites. Customers receiving jars that were already yellowed upon arrival, a classic and unmistakable sign of oxidation before the product even reaches your kitchen. Questions about whether cold-pressed claims hold up under scrutiny across every single batch and every single supply run. A 2019 consumer investigation by a UK food transparency organisation found that the term cold-pressed has no legally binding definition in UK coconut oil labelling. Any brand can use it. There is no enforcement mechanism, no required temperature threshold, no independent verification mandated by law, no inspector checking the factory. That means when you read cold pressed on a coconut oil label, you are trusting the brand entirely on their word. And trust without verification is not safety. It is hope. And hope is not a strategy when your health is at stake. For seniors, this is the most dangerous entry on the entire list, not because the oil is necessarily the worst in laboratory terms, but because the trust is the highest. When you believe something is protecting your health, you stop questioning it. You use more of it. You cook with it every morning. You spread it on your skin every night. And if the quality is not consistent with what the label promises, every single use becomes a gamble. A gamble with your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your kidneys, your heart. Open the jar. Look closely. Is it perfectly white or slightly off? Smell it carefully. Is that a hint of something sharp, something that should not be there? Most people never check. Now you will. Remember earlier when I said there were 2 brands that actually passed every test? Here they are. And remember the one simple method I promised you, the way to spot a bad coconut oil before you even open the jar? It is this. Always look for both the words virgin or extra virgin and cold pressed on the label. If both are not there, put it back on the shelf. That single check eliminates the vast majority of the problems we have just covered. The first safe brand is Groovy Food Company Virgin Coconut Oil. Cold pressed, certified organic by the Soil Association, which is the gold standard for UK organic certification, not USDA organic, not a vague European label. The Soil Association. That means the certification applies to the growing, the harvesting and the processing. Every step verified, transparently sourced from a single origin in the Philippines. Independently tested and consistently high in lauric acid across multiple batches. No chemical refining, no bleaching, no deodorizing, no hexane, no bleaching clay. What you see on the mud, label is genuinely what is in the jar. Open it, and the coconut aroma hits you immediately. Rich, sweet, tropical. The texture is smooth and creamy. It melts slowly in your hands. That is real coconut oil. That is what every jar should smell like. That is what you have been looking for. The second safe brand is Tiana Fairtrade Organic Raw Coconut Oil. This is a UK-based company with full traceability from farm to jar. Not partial traceability, full traceability. You can contact them and they will tell you exactly which plantation your oil came from. Raw, unrefined, independently tested for purity by third-party laboratories. High MCT content verified across batches. The lauric acid levels are consistently among the highest of any coconut oil sold in the United Kingdom. For seniors managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or inflammation, this is the standard. This is what every coconut oil should be, but almost none of them are. And now you know exactly where to find it. Now you know the difference. And you will never look at a coconut oil jar the same way again. That is the truth about coconut oil in the United Kingdom. Most people will never hear it. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe right now. Every week we expose the products that put your health at risk and we show you exactly what to use instead. Your health is not a guessing game. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.